Welcome back to yet another 213 Crispy video, and today we are working on our electronics. So we were able to get the engine running in our last video. I did tinker with that loud vibrating noise, which I know it was the drive shaft, so I had to take all that apart, lube it up, clean it, all of that fun jazz to get it prepared for the water. And we've got that finished. So now we are ready to start getting into the electrical side of things. So I'm going to pull out the owner's manual or user guide that we got with our controller, our receiver, and we also need our receiver. So this is a FlySky FS-GT3C receiver, and this receiver was donated to us by QWinout.com, or also their Amazon store, QWinout. They are one of the larger distributors for the FlySky receivers, controllers and receivers, so a special shout out to them. They are the official sponsor of the Miss Budweiser video restoration series that we've got going on. So what it is, quick backstory: bought the boat for 50 bucks, non-running condition, locked up, didn't want to run, didn't do anything. So what we've done, kind of gone through some steps of basically troubleshooting and repairing some pieces and parts. Today's video is going to be the electrical portion of it to kind of get that somewhat squared away, and then we will go from there. So inside of our user manual is the binding instructions. So it's going to tell you that I understand that they're pre-bound before they are delivered. So technically speaking, this would work with my controller already, but if you needed to do the binding again, you just follow the simple instructions that came with your user manual on how to do that. It's pretty self-explanatory, pretty simple. It's not rocket science. It just gives you the step-by-steps on how to make sure that you get a receiver paired up to your controller. Other than that, we are ready to start hooking up all of our electronics. So what I want to do, because I don't know for sure how everybody does this, but I want to look. So throttle is channel 2 and steering is channel 1. Some people do it kind of backwards, it just depends, but defaultly throttle is 2. So I am going to set my throttle servo, which is my front one, and I'm just trying to make sure that I got the correct receiver. I know my big fat head's in the way, guys, I'm sorry, but trying to figure out which one's which, and sitting out of the way is about impossible. So this one is our throttle, so we are going to hook this up to channel 2. So that's channel 2. Channel 1 is going to be steering. And lastly is going to be battery. I do not have an on-off switch yet for this. Like I said, I bought the boat used, and it did not have there we go. So now we got our red light to indicate to us that it is ready to go. So I am going to power off. You notice the red light is blinking. That's the indicator to let us know that it is not currently paired. So you turn this back on, that instantly goes back to solid red. So, looks like we got a little bit of an issue, because nothing is wanting to work correctly. So, either I put these in backwards, they still should work, or both. I find it hard to believe that both are dead. There it goes. So I did have it in backwards. So I'm already discovering one problem. The throw on the carburetor is off. So we got to figure that out to figure out why it's doing what it's doing. So I'm going to tinker with that off camera for a few minutes. But you can see, you'll hear the steering is working. Range of motion's not the best. So I'm probably going to have to tinker with that. And then I'm going to have to tinker with the settings on that carburetor. So, but that's how you hook up your electronics. Normally all of this would be tucked down inside of here underneath your battery pack, or down inside in a watertight container of some sort. And then your receiver is going to mount down inside of here as well. And then we're going to use this supplied antenna to run up through the hole. So I'm going to bring you guys back once I do some of this stuff off camera. But the biggest thing I need to figure out is what is up with this throttle linkage, because it is in a terrible bind right now. And I got to figure out why it's doing what it's doing. So I'll be back, guys. Give me a few minutes, and for you guys it'll be like 10 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, so what I've been working on is the steering. So what I am doing is I took the wing off so you guys could see a little bit better about what's going on up here. And I also needed to get access to this screw, because I also needed to put grease on this shaft to try to get that somewhat watertight. So what I did was loosen this up, and I'm going to turn this as far as it'll go one way, and turn the servo as far as it'll go, and this will be max that direction. So in this case, this actually needs to be set to reverse, because right now if I turn my steering wheel right, the boat's going to go left, because you notice the prop is turning right, which means the boat will end up going left. So what we need to do is we need to go through our settings, and we need to set channel 1 to reverse. So there we go. So now if I turn right, the prop now turns the opposite direction, which means now it's going to turn the correct way that I need to go. So it was a simple one going through the menu and changing the mode to be reversed, which is nice. So now I have to trim this out so it's roughly close to center. So what I need to do is I need to trim this and it's not going to let me. So that tells me that I'm going to have to manually do this, which is what I didn't want to do. Probably going to have to take... That's probably the best thing to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. I'm going to take the muffler off so I can get down to the servos, because I have to disconnect that servo and move it an arm length. I have to move it, the servo jumper over one, because it's too far to one direction. I mean, I could technically undo this, and it's set to center, so I can go over here. I can eyeball this to center, like it is. That's close to center now. Tighten this back up, and voila, I have a straight driving boat. The problem is now when I want to turn left, I'm only getting probably 25 degrees, but if I want to go right, I'm probably getting 40 degrees. Yes, I know these boats are designed to only turn right, but just in case... So I'm going to do that off camera. You guys don't have to get worried about that. But if you listen... Hear that clicking noise? That clicking noise is telling me that the servo is still trying to pull. So you can adjust those limitations on the receiver end of it, or the controller end of it, if you really wanted. But I think I'm just going to leave it like it is for now, but eventually I'm going to end up when I tear this apart, we're going to put this back together the 100% right way. The correct way of doing that would be to pull the servo out, move the arm one or two tooth one direction, and get this so it turns the same direction both ways. But for now, we are going to leave it like it is. So everything functions like it should, so I'm going to get this wrapped up. I'm going to do it off camera, and then I'm going to bring you guys back. But what we're going to do is we're going to tuck this down in here, hook up our antenna for it, and then mount the battery down in there, and we'll be right back, guys. So give me a couple minutes, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys. So we are back, and we have been able to get our devices in the correct locations on where they're probably going to end up staying for now anyway, until I completely redo this boat. But we've got our antenna installed with our antenna sticking out of it from the receiver. The receiver is loosely mounted on top of one of the servo mounts, which is just a piece of wood, and then the 4-pack of AA batteries mount up on the right hand side, up out of the way, and you're going to notice there's plenty of clearance through here. So that is how you would do this. There's going to be a waterproof cover that goes over this. I don't have that yet, and I still have to make that. And then on that cover, I'm going to have the on-off switch mounted to it. So right now there is no switch, so it is currently unplugged, but that is how the electronics are going to work for this boat, and that's supposed to be a waterproof container. And then both the front and the rear have those boots, which is where the servo arms go through. And with those boots, they're supposed to be grease in those boots, and there is none right now, so that will be getting solved with some of the WD-40 marine grade water resistant grease, and that will be getting installed in both the front and the rear. So you're going to notice I already did put some in the rear on the outside, trying to get some in. I still got to clean up the outside gunk of it, but all in all, it's a lot better. It's sitting straight. The actual steering is. I still got to get a prop for the bottom. That's a whole nother problem on its own, but that's going to be something that I do. Actually, today I need to order the parts. Will be a big parts order list for this particular boat. But yeah, all in all, we've got everything set up. So now I need to fine-tune
the carburetor a little bit on getting that set up correctly, especially now that we have the electronics set up like we're supposed to, so I can actually use the throttle and kind of give this a quick adjustment. And then I still have to hook up my tubes. So that's your water in comes in this side, water out goes that side, and shoots out of this right here. You can actually see it sticking out. And then got to hook up the vacuum, which is that green tube down there, and it hooks up to the exhaust manifold right there. So other than that, Miss Budweiser Electronics is done. So the next step for this particular project is going to be doing some fiberglass work. So I will be getting this cleaned up, and then we will start doing some fiberglass work. So with that, we're going to wrap this video up. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day, and keep tuned with this series, because this boat will be on the water here in probably 2, maybe 3 videos. So thank you all for watching. Thank you guys for taking your time for watching. And thank you for your subscriptions and also the comments down below. I appreciate anything and everything you guys do for me. So also make sure you guys go check out the qwinout.com website, because they are the ones that were generous enough to donate that the receiver and controller, or sorry, the receiver, the TX and the RX, the transmitter and receiver. They donated that to this cause for the Miss Budweiser rebuild, so I would appreciate it if you guys take the time to go check out their website or also their Amazon web store. And yeah, with that, we're going to wrap this video up, and thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful and fantastic day.